offers delivery of 5 or 3 gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler, or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab, or 337-519-3563.
What keeps you up at night? Do you wonder if what you've saved will be enough? If your money will go as far as you plan? Or whether your retirement will look the way you imagine? What worries you? Everyone's concern is different, but ignoring it won't make it disappear. This is Ron Paul. You may not be able to predict what comes next, but you can take steps now to diversify your savings with precious metals before uncertainty becomes urgency. My friends at Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit explaining how gold can help diversify your IRA or 401k. Just text the word SECURE to the number 989898. There's no cost and no obligation. Just free information to help you consider your option. Take the first step with Birch Gold. Text the word SECURE to the number 989898.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Karen Crow Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
Houston Astros opened up their series with the New York Yankees with a 9-7 win in the Bronx last night. Yanner Diaz had a huge night at the plate, going 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 3 RBI. Game 2 of the series will be tonight, and it'll be Peter Lambert on the mound for Houston while the Yankees are yet to name their starter. First pitch is at 6:05 p.m., and you can listen to it on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Around the AL West, the White Sox beat the Rangers 11-7, the Guardians beat the Angels 8-6, the Athletics beat the Twins 4-2, and the Mariners beat the Phillies 4-1. With those results, Houston still narrowly holds on to first place with a half-game lead over the Rangers. A few recent LSU signings could see their futures with the Tigers in jeopardy after SEC schools voted unanimously 16-0 to bar athletes from returning to college sports after playing for a professional franchise. The rule states that if a player has declared for a professional draft and did not withdraw, signed a pro contract, or has been listed by a professional franchise's roster, then the player is ineligible to return to play in college, and any schools that violate this can be penalized by the league's commissioner. In Williamsport yesterday, 4 teams kept their Little League World Series hopes alive by fending off elimination. Today, 4 more games will take place. In the winner's bracket at 12, Curaçao will play Latin America. Then the Mountain Region will play the Midwest at 2 p.m. Then in the elimination bracket, Canada will play Japan at 4 p.m. and Southeast will face the Great Lakes region at 6 p.m. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome into Footnotes. You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles. You can give us a call on the ESPN hotline in about a half hour in this crazy world as we broadcast live from the Bill and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette. Bill and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown attorneys. Maybe we need to get them on the show to explain some of this.
Yeah, no, we went into the wrong profession. We should have just been attorneys.
Well, I don't know. I've told this story before. I have 2 brothers. I have 3 brothers. 2 of them are attorneys. The older 3 we were all debaters, and the normal thing if you debate in high school, and they debated in college and all. So you went into lawyer, and then as a freshman, I saw the movie Injustice for All, and then I was like, I'm out the back door. Plus, I never liked school quite as much as they did.
I could see that, yeah. I'd pay to see you debate, though, with your brothers, because I'm sure they know the right buttons to push to send you over the edge.
If you've ever seen that movie, the scene at the end with Al Pacino, I wouldn't use the language that he used, obviously, but he that if I had a bucket list, that would be really high up on my bucket list, like really high up.
Okay.
To do that. But anyway, that's a different subject. I don't know how we got on that. Well, it's all the legal stuff that's going on. All right, look, I most of the year when the Astros win, I come on the air and say it's glorious. I'm way too down in the dumps as a sports fan right now to call last night's victory glorious. Although it was in a lot of ways. It just helped ease, like, dull the pain a little bit. You know how when have you ever had a kidney stone?
I have not. I'm not quite to that age yet, but I know they're waiting for
Well,
me.
it didn't take age. My first kidney stone was the day before I got married, so I was 25 years old.
Thanks. I got that coming up, so now that'll
so
be
it's
in my
not
head.
it's not necessarily an age thing. And I've battled it for like 10 years, and then I guess I prayed enough, and God has lifted that from me. But when you're in pain, anything that dulls the pain is a good thing. And that's what last night's win at Yankee Stadium did. It just kind of dulled the pain a little bit. I'm just not all the way to glorious yet, but it certainly dulled the pain a little bit. And so it is this team has been somewhat remarkable this year. Again, we're coming off a 3-6 homestand, arguably the worst homestand in the history of the franchise. It was awful. But one of the things that FedEx Man said, and he's right, and I knew it, and I've said it in my chat group, the thing about this Astro team for a while now, going back, most of the last decade, they will lose to teams under 500 on a pretty regular basis. For being one of the top 2 or 3 winningest teams over the last decade, they lose a lot of games to teams under 500, but their record against teams over 500 is better than just about anybody. Like they've been pretty consistent at that, where they do really well against good teams, and when they play teams under 500, they don't do as well as you would think. Now, I mean, they win their fair share of games, but I saw a graphic, in the last 2 or 3 days. I think they have the second best winning percentage in the league this year against teams over 500, and it you can't explain all that. Most of that is just baseball and some mental weakness in certain areas. But look, they needed a win. They got a win. It was another horrendous start. Like, again, I really believe this is the worst starting rotation in the history of the franchise. And I say that because even when the Astros were mediocre, I guess if I went back and looked, man, I don't even know. Like when they lost 100 games 3 years in a row, it still seemed like they had better starting pitching than they have now. I mean, it's just atrocious. But even when the Astros were mediocre in a lot of years, in my lifetime, their strength was always their starting pitching. Like that was their strength. Like they've had years when they came to this ballpark where they've been good offensively, but they were rarely a really good offense. Now, 98 and 97, they were pretty good. But over the years, they weren't always a great hitting team because they played in the Astrodome, but they always had good starting pitching. Like even in the 70s when they would lose, they had Durker and Wilson and James Rodney. And, I mean, they always had good pitchers. Like, back then, if you went 3 or 4 innings in a start, that was embarrassing. And now we just, he went 4 innings. What?
That's commonplace now, though, across the league.
It's anyway. Look, great Vic, and the really impressive thing about last night's victory is not that they came out and took an early lead, because you figured if they had anything about them, they were going to come out kind of fired up, trying to, prove themselves and erase the awful memory of that ridiculous homestand. But then they took a lead, and then the Yankees took the lead. And then they took another lead, and then the Yankees took the lead. And
it was a fantastic game.
It went back and forth, and you thought that when the Yankees went back up 6-5, you just kind of had the feeling, oh well, it's just done. And then Yainer Diaz, who had 8 home runs coming into the game, now has 10. He had 2 hits, and he got another. Yainer Diaz got 3 hits.
Yeah, 2 home runs.
I mean, he's been so miserable and so disappointing. And he had a big night. El Perro Grande, he didn't hit a homer. He's on a big homer drought again. But he got 3 hits.
And a triple. Was it a triple that he
got
hit?
His first triple of the season. Yeah, his first triple of the season. And Cam got a triple.
And Dalton Varsho, didn't he have a couple of RBI?
Dalton Varsho, I mean, all he hit was ground balls that found holes. But, yeah.
He had to play an AL East team.
He got 2 RBI singles. And so it sure would be nice to see that guy drive a ball in a gap for once, but it just never happens. But, look, it was when you're punch drunk and you just take anything, just any little oasis in the desert, and you take it. And so I don't know if they can win the series, because again, they had to extend their bullpen again. It's just, I just don't. Okert, it's starting to crack a little bit. He's been arguably the best until this weekend. I think statistically he might have the best numbers of any reliever in baseball, or pretty close. Like most of the season, his whip was like 060, 070. It's like in the 080s now, which is still super fantabulous. But he's starting to get hit. He's in his last 2. He's starting to crack. This bullpen's just way overused, and it's. But look, the pain got dulled a little bit. It allowed me to sleep decent last night for the first time in a while. I didn't wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning like I've been doing, and so it was a relief.
Obviously I didn't want that result, but it was a very good game, and I found last night there weren't a lot of cheap home runs. I thought because everybody always complains about the short right porch. I think there was maybe one, and it was Yiner's last one, which was the only one. That was kind of like that was probably a fly ball in other parks, but I felt like everything that went out last night was pretty well hit.
I agree. And it was, and again, I know everyone loves the home runs. I just like being able to get base hits and driving runs. Like they got Paredes got an RBI single up the middle, and Varsho got did. 2 singles, one to left and one to right. And, who got the single after Cam got the hit? Someone got I'm forgetting. It was Yainer got another RBI single. So they got some hits. They delivered. We'll see if they can build on it. The big bad Phillies from the big bad National League got their face crushed again. All these big, bad National League teams, they go to this awful American League West, and they can't win any games. By the way, did you see the scoreboard in the major leagues yesterday? Almost every game was what you would consider an upset. Now, and it would have been just about every one except for the little MVPs led the whole game and blew it at the end and lost in extra innings. But almost every game, the team with the inferior record won, except for maybe 1 or 2.
The Red Sox beat the Marlins. That one would not have been an upset. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the other scores. Yeah, Mets beat the Braves. Not the Braves. The Mets beat the Brewers. Braves beat the Dodgers, but they're pretty.
Yeah, pretty even.
White Sox beat the Rangers. Orioles destroyed the Cardinals 13-1, but both of those teams are awful. Yeah. I mean, it looks like.
I mean, it was just the inferior team won. The A's beat the Twins.
The A's beat the Twins.
I mean, it was just up and down the scoreboard. And the point of all of that is it's just all this easy schedule, hard schedule. You're playing the game. You just don't know. You really – to say someone's better and has a great chance of win, it's just not like the other sports.
Well,
you have a great chance to lose every time you step on a baseball.
And when you play in a set league that has, X amount of teams and you play the exact same teams every year, it's kind of hard to have a hard or a poor schedule. It's not like college football where you're Notre Dame and you're playing the entire MAC, throughout your season. That's an easy schedule. But when you play the same teams every single year and it's pro baseball, nobody really has an easy schedule.
You still, because you're playing against the game. But anyway, all right, it is a tangle where we weave, and we are going to take a timeout. And when we come back, we'll try to make some sense of any of it, even though I don't know if we'll be successful with our friend Jeff Palermo next. Stay tuned.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
With storm season in full swing, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station, and Mid-South Power Solutions in Crawley bring you these hurricane safety tips. Make sure to secure your home. Bring in outdoor items before the storm makes landfall. Have an emergency kit stocked with food, water, medications. Know your evacuation routes. Listen to local authorities. Stay informed with a battery-powered radio, and make sure you have fresh batteries. Remember, safety is in your hands. These hurricane preparedness tips powered by Mid-South Power Solutions in Crawley, your local Generac dealer. Visit midsouthpowersolutions.com.
Make sure to set your alarm and tune in Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock for Sports Shorts here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Join me, Ronnie Rance, and the Sports Shorts team of Tommy Christsan, Hunter McCann, and the crazy man, Joel Davis, as we break down the sports and teams that you love. The LSU Tigers, New Orleans Saints, and everything in between. Tune in Saturday mornings from 10 to noon for Sports Shorts here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
And now time for the Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Ever wonder why bugs seem to love your home as much as you do? One big reason: moisture. Roaches, termites, and ants are drawn to damp areas. Check under sinks, around windows, and in attics for leaks and excess moisture. A little home maintenance goes a long way in keeping pests out. Got unwanted guests? Call Sugarland Exterminating at 337-367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com for more information.
Sugarland Exterminating. Pest-free environment we're creating. Spiders, roaches, rats, and mice. Those awful termites are not so nice. Get rid of all your pests right now. Call Sugarland Exterminating.
Termites, they're here. They're invasive. They can destroy your home if left untreated. Sugarland Exterminating has been in business for over 50 years, and they have the experience to effectively treat termites. Call 367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com.
And that has been your Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Something big is coming on September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive offers, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. Sign up with DraftKings today with code 1037GAME and get ready to celebrate the biggest day of the season. Mark the date, September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of a new season, a new era, and the biggest day in sports history. Get ready to celebrate. New DraftKings customers sign up with code 1037GAME. Spend $5 to get $200 in bonus bets within 21 days. That's code 1037GAME. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus. Physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. $50 in non-withdrawable bonus bets issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Every year, summer ends and the kids go back to school. This year, I'm going back too, at My Computer Career. They helped me get financial aid, and I got to choose online or on-campus classes to fit my needs. Now I'm on a fast track to a high-demand IT career where the rewards can finally match my value. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu. It's never too late to go back to school.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
You're
listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station, and your home for the LSU Tigers.
Welcome back to Footnotes. We have with us our friend Mr. Jeff Palermo. Let me ask you, Jeff, Tiger Rag Radio, y'all have done a lot of episodes or whatever you would have called a lot of shows. Was last night the most combative ever?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's the most combative I ever heard.
I think I'm just a frustrated college football fan. I think that's really where I'm at right now. I mean, I think all this is just silly. This is, the excuses that they're using to try to say that, well, they didn't, the R.J. Louis, he practiced professionally, but he didn't play in a game. I mean, come on. He signed a contract to play professional basketball. To me, there's just like two truths out there, right? When it comes to, college athletics, you don't gamble on, and that's really in sports. You don't gamble on your team or against your team. And we saw that play out in Brennan Sorsby's case. And the way we've known college athletics our entire life, soon as you sign a contract with a professional franchise, that's it. You're done. There's no turning back. And I know people are saying, well, with this class of 2022, that if they would have known, they probably would have stayed another year, and this and that, and this is a hardship for them. It's not a hardship for them. They still made a decision. Daquan Wright could have gone to Cleveland and tried to, bust his rear end and actually make the team instead of, trying to come back to college athletics. It just looks bad. Nobody's saying it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And then when you have the SEC try to lay down the law, they can't because the court orders apparently supersede that. It just drives you up the wall. And I think that was my
No, I get it.
That I was unleashing last.
No, I get it. So, okay, I'm trying to make some sense of it all. I look at things maybe a tad bit differently in terms of the questions I ask. The first thing to me, the most alarming thing to me, maybe not alarming, but the first thing that just doesn't make any sense that I can't wrap my mind around is why, when we just went through all these other cases, from Trinidad Chambliss to all these other cases, Diego Pavia, all these other cases, why would the NCAA put the entire NCAA and all its schools in this position by saying, you know what, we just got through all this COVID where we had 26 and we made 1 million exceptions for everything, and we're going to let the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors get an extra year, but we're not going to let the seniors, and we're not going to get any lawsuits, and everyone's going to be okay with this, and this is worth creating all of this. Who sat in a room and made that decision?
Well, they may have been looking at this, Kevin, and saying, for us to get Congress to act and to get us our anti-exemption status so that we can get out of the courtroom, we need complete chaos. So sometimes it might take, burning the home down to build it back up the right way. There may be they may be playing chess and we don't know it.
Right, exactly. And that was going to be my next question, that I've heard the theory that they actually did this on purpose because they wanted this reaction.
Yeah. I think there's a part of that. I think there's a part of that. I also do think, and I brought it up on the show last night, if you did allow them to come back, now with the roster limits and now with money really being dedicated to various players, it would have caused even more chaos. There would have been players being cut. There would have been promises yanked away from certain players. There'd be people crying foul. It wouldn't have been this seamless transition that so many people, I think, feel like it still, I think, would have blown up. Maybe not to this degree, but I still think it would have caused a lot of problems.
All right, so let me here's my first thought was, or one of my first thought was just let them do it and then if they play, say they're ineligible. But the problem is, to my understanding, is that if the courts win, and I call these I've been calling, it's like having Little League moms. Judges pose as Little League moms, and if you need a court case in Arizona, you get an Arizona judge, a Baton Rouge judge, or whatever. It's silliness. It's like Little League mom stuff. But if the courts really supersede conference law, then part of that is you can't even penalize them. So you can't make them ineligible. You can't fine them. So it's, unless I'm misunderstanding that, what would they do at that point?
I don't know, Kevin. I don't know, and I think that's kind of my frustration. You have this league, the Southeastern Conference, and I've been another part of my frustration is that we've been hearing Greg Sankey say we got problems, we need to address this, we need to address that, and these problems just kept piling up, and it didn't seem like there was anybody really trying to address it. Instead, they were trying to hope that Congress can bail them out. And if you're counting on Congress to do anything for you, that's probably not a very good plan, as they found out. And so here's Greg Sankey finally kind of drawing a line in the sand. And to hear from some of the analysts and so forth, legal analysts, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's almost like, well, then what are we doing here? I mean, what if you can't have a league or an organization and you can't enforce a single rule, then what's the point? And I get it. On September 5th, everybody's going to be watching college football, and stands are going to be packed and all that kind of stuff. But it's just gotten to the point where it's just hard to digest, and I can't make sense out of it anymore. As a person who's 50 years old, I can't make sense out of it all. And it's a sport that I absolutely love, and I just feel like they are just cannibalizing themselves. And, again, that's where my frustration is, because I don't know what's going to be left when if this thing just, falls like a house of cards. And maybe I'm being, too much drama there. Maybe I'm overreacting to it all, and maybe it'll all sort itself out. And, again, there's still going to be millions of people watching on September 5th, and that's going to be a great day. This Saturday is going to be a great day. There's college football games tomorrow, and that's awesome too. So it's here, and we're all going to be tuning in. But all of this stuff is just, it's like –
No, it is crazy. And again, we're speaking with Jeff Palermo from Tiger Ag Radio. Okay, the next big thing to me is if what we're saying is how things are going to play out, which I don't know how it's not unless someone just says, okay, I give up and I run away, then it just, to me, as I see all of this and hear everything, it comes down to LSU deciding, are we going to take advantage of this loophole and go all the way down that road and risk being the Darth Vader of the SEC, and like the Saints and Casper, as I call him, Sean Payton, decided to fight the NFL, and the Saints got cheated so bad the NFL won and Sean Payton gave up and quit. Mm-hmm. And so does LSU really want to go down that road of being the Darth Vader of the SEC, where you're gonna take this loophole and you're gonna go all of this and you're gonna defy Sankey and all the other SEC teams because you want to make a point in this loophole? Are they really gonna do that, and is it worth it?
Well, a few months ago, it was like 2 or 3 months ago, athletic director Verge Osbury had a sit-down interview with Jacques Doucet from WAFB, and Jacques was asking him about Will Wade. And one of the things that Verge said, and it stuck out to me, is that he basically encouraged him to push the envelope, take it as far as he possibly can. So if that's the mantra, just push the envelope, and it's all about winning, and we have this investment. I think they're willing to test it and see. I think they're willing to get in a stare down with the SEC. My feeling is that I'm kind of I don't know if you are, Kevin. You're about as big of a sports fan as I am, and you kind of brought up the whole Saints situation. I kind of believe in karma, and I think if you keep trying to swim upriver or swim against the current, eventually it's going to really bite you bad. And I don't know if that's really what you want to do. If you want to be the villain out there and accept that, and I think there's a certain segment of the LSU fan base that's all for that. They love it, us against the world, and that's great. But I don't know if it works out for you in the end. I really don't. It's gonna come toppling down on you, and I do kind of wonder, for a guy like Dylan Carpenter, right? He's a backup defensive end who's been busting his butt in preseason camp, and he's got himself in a position where he should see some significant playing time. I kind of wonder what does he think about this? Like I've been here for 3 years now. And I'm on the cusp of really getting some significant playing time possibly. And now you're going to bring in like 2 or 3 guys to basically replace me or lessen my role? I mean, you could – I mean, maybe it all works out, Kevin. maybe it all works out. But it could also just blow up. And unfortunately, I guess I'm looking at everything today because of everything that's going on with the glass, half empty kind of look at things. And we're here 10 days or so away from the first game, and maybe this is not a distraction in the football ops office, but I almost feel like I don't know how it cannot be. You're talking, you got the coaches talking to lawyers, you got all kinds of stuff going on, and yeah, we're right up against game week here, and you got players wondering about playing time and who's coming in. Like that stuff happens in the NFL all the time. You're accustomed to it. When you get in the NFL, you can be in training camp the whole time, and you can make the team, but they bring somebody in a week before the game, and that's it. You're done. That happens, but that doesn't really happen. That doesn't really happen in college athletics, and it's different.
It seems like all we've talked about is legal stuff and injuries, and we haven't talked hardly any football in 3 weeks. It's amazing.
And during Lane Kiffin's media availability Monday, I mean, the reporters tried to ask him a couple of questions about the scrimmage, and all the oxygen in the room was just about the guys that they're bringing in off of. That were part of NFL training camps. So
yeah, it's crazy. All righty, sir. Well, I appreciate your time. I don't know where this is going to end. I don't know if any of us do, but it is. Yeah. It's insanity. Try to enjoy.
Yeah, I'm going to take a deep breath, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
I'll be all right.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks.
All right, man.
We'll take a timeout. We'll be back.
This is Footnotes. Live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we got to go fast now.
Houston Astros opened up their series with the New York Yankees with a 9-7 win in the Bronx last night. Yainer Diaz had a huge night at the plate, going 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 3 RBI. Game 2 of the series will be tonight, and it'll be Peter Lambert on the mound for Houston while the Yankees are yet to name their starter. First pitch is at 6:05 p.m., and you can listen to it on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Around the AL West, the White Sox beat the Rangers 11-7, the Guardians beat the Angels 8-6, the Athletics beat the Twins 4-2, and the Mariners beat the Phillies 4-1. With those results, Houston still narrowly holds on to first place with a half-game lead over the Rangers. A few recent LSU signings could see their futures with the Tigers in jeopardy after SEC schools voted unanimously 16-0 to bar athletes from returning to college sports after playing for a professional franchise. The rule states that if a player has declared for a professional draft and did not withdraw, signed a pro contract, or has been listed by a professional franchise's roster, then the player is ineligible to return to play in college, and any schools that violate this can be penalized by the league's commissioner. In Williamsport yesterday, 4 teams kept their Little League World Series hopes alive by fending off elimination. Today, 4 more games will take place. In the winner's bracket at 12, Curacao will play Latin America. Then the Mountain Region will play the Midwest at 2 p.m. Then in the elimination bracket, Canada will play Japan at 4 p.m. and Southeast will face the Great Lakes region at 6 p.m. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
The heart of Acadiana is its local businesses, the people, families, and companies that help our communities thrive. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Candyland Cottage is the place to satisfy all your cravings. Find delicious ice creams, fresh fudges, truffles, hot dogs, sausage po' boys, Frito pies, and homemade shakes. Visit us in Scott and Rain for a sweet treat. Plan your next birthday party or field trip at Candyland Cottage.
Shop local, support local. Certified South Louisiana.
It's 9 a.m. You just received a voicemail from your boss.
Hey, Janet. Heads up. We got an important meeting coming up Thursday. The big guys are coming into town, so I need you in charge of lunch, and we've got to look good.
Luckily for Janet, she knows a place, and she knows her boss will be impressed.
Honey Baked Ham can cater your next event. Delicious and freshly sliced deli trays, box lunches with sandwich, chips, and dessert. Or try our fresh salad boxes, and the perfect touch with a meat and cheese tray. Honey Baked Ham Company.
Looking for a great midweek treat? Come to Mezcal Mexican Restaurant every Wednesday and Thursday and enjoy their sizzling fajita special. $13.99 plus tax all day long. Don't forget all day 2-for-1 margaritas. Are you planning a large party? Let Mezcal handle it. Call 337-484-3298 and Mezcal will take care of everything. That's a fajita special, $13.99 plus tax all day Wednesday and Thursday at Mezcal Mexican Restaurant, 3546 Ambassador Caffrey, next to Rooms to Go. Come taste the flavor of Mezcal.
Do you know how many tax resolution firms have been forced to close because they were taking advantage of people or have gone out of business? It happens all the time. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. As a matter of fact, there are national tax relief companies that are currently under court orders to cease operations. So if you have IRS issues, do not fall for the threats and scare tactics of the national so-called tax relief companies. The Bryson Law Firm has been doing this for decades. We have a AAA BBB rating, and our entire focus is IRS problems and tax liability issues. An IRS problem is a legal problem. Let the Bryson Law Firm help you get relief the right way. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Don't put it off any longer. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm. The Bryson Law Firm. LSB filing number LA2519684.
You're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
Welcome back to Footnotes. All right, so very interesting conversation. It's nationally, locally, people are talking about it like crazy and trying to figure all this out. I think there's a lot of different ways to look at this. But while we did that, we, in our opener and talked to Jeff, we have not done our poll question of the day. And I think know my answer to the poll question of the day, and it seems pretty obvious to me what the answer is because of what we're going through right now. So tell us the poll question of the day, and I'll give you what I think is the obvious answer.
Yeah. What's the biggest threat to college athletics? Do you think it's everything being sponsored? The jerseys having a sponsor patch, the stadiums having the sponsors, the field itself having the sponsors. So sponsor. Everything is an ad space if you really want it to be. Do you think it's the players being paid? Do you think, how dare you make $1 on your name, image, and likeness? Do you think it's maybe people like Daquan Wright, who's had a cup of coffee with the NFL, even played a couple of preseason games, got money from the Cleveland Browns and such, becoming a pro, as you say, and then deciding, hey, I want to go back to college? Do you think pros coming back to college is what's the biggest threat, or do you think it's something else?
Well, I think the very obvious answer, and we're seeing it before our very eyes over the last year or so, or 2 years even, the most obvious answer is the judicial system. The American judicial system is the biggest threat to college sports because you can't make a rule that you can enforce as long as anywhere around you have, as I'm calling them, a judge playing Little League mom and does whatever ruling that supports whatever schools in their state. That's by far the biggest threat to college sports because you can't even enforce your rules. And then you can't – look, you don't really have equity in college because of how the difference between the haves and the have-nots. All that is never going to be rectified. But now you can't – because so in Louisiana or Missouri or whatever, you can do it, but the other states can't? Like, how is that fair? And so it's I think it should be 100% the answer is the judicial system is the biggest threat to NCAA college athletics. So it is, and I don't know even how to begin to rectify that. I mean, are we ever going to be able to say they can make rules and it be enforceable? Because if you're always at the mercy of a little league of a judge playing little league mom, then how do you have any credibility? How do you have anything? It's a mess. It is. And again, I get Jeff's frustration, but I want to go back to our conversation that Jeff and I had. The part that, because I've heard people talking about that, the idea that the NCAA did this on purpose to create chaos. In other words, I'm gonna. It's kind of like what we all at the end of the season. I'm one of them. Like, I want chaos so we can get an end of changing the system. It's kind of like a first cousin to I want my team to lose so I can fire my coach. Well, if the NCAA strategically excluded the 2022 guys in order to create chaos, in order to achieve an end that they're trying to get to, it's almost like entrapment. It's like, I'm not saying what they did may not work if they did that, but it just makes all of this, it just sheds a whole different light on this, all of this controversy, if you look at it that way, if indeed that's what they did. Now, I don't know how you're ever going to prove any of that. I get that part. But it's, in some ways this is complicated, and in some ways it's not. Like, it's not very, if you really, if the Big Ten and the SEC and all these conferences really are at mercy of the Little League mom judge, like everyone keeps telling me, I don't know the law. Like I said, I have two brothers who are lawyers. I'm not a lawyer. I can't tell you with any kind of expertise that but everything that I've heard from people who know a whole lot more about the law than me that have said is that the mom, the Little League mom judge trumps the SEC's rules and bylaws and the Big Ten's rules and bylaws and whatever other conferences' rules and bylaws. So as long as that remains true, if that is true, and that's what everyone has said that I've heard talk about that subject, if that is true, this isn't very complicated at all. You are held hostage. You're at the mercy of those courts. And how that is, I mean, it's silly to me. But anyway, if that's true, then if you're LSU, it's pretty simple. Am I okay being the bad guy? Am I okay taking advantage of this situation? Because here's what's possible. You could win the battle and lose the war. Or you could say, you know what, we're going to win this battle, and Lane's going to stay here 2 or 3 years and leave like he always does, and then the SEC is going to forgive us. I guess you could look at it that way. You could say, I mean, I don't think Will Wade's coming back here to play Darth Vader and then leave. I don't think Will Wade's going to want to leave, but, I mean, who knows what he's going to do. But if that's the game, the decision that they want to make, and it looks like that's what they want to do, I mean, I'm no lover of the NCAA, so if they want to do that, that's fine. I'm just saying there's a risk involved in that process and going down that road. It's fun and exciting to be Darth Vader and, like going swimming upstream like Jeff put the analogy, but you better be careful when that hold comes. That nifty little hold comes on the game-winning drive. I mean, what a tangled web we weave. It makes the win sweeter. I can tell you that as a Saints fan, but it wears on you. It wears on you. And so it's as an Astro fan, it makes the win sweeter, but it wears on you. So no, it's fascinating subject. I don't know where it's going to end. I just know, like I said 20-something years ago, the closest thing to purity in sports is professional sports, and what's going on and back then, a lot of people looked at me weird when I would say that. And now it's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even a debate. It's, we'll see. Now, the next thing is from the thing that I wonder, because again, I'm not as smart as some and all these lawyers, so I look at things maybe a little differently, or I wonder things. So is this a situation where the football players that are doing this are going to get away with it because you know how it always takes forever to get people in courts, and if you have to go to federal court, then who knows when that court date's going to be, and you can just kick the can till past the season, and so they'll get to play until they decide it. So does this mean that if you're a football player, you got a chance to win this, but by the time we get to the spring, does that decrease the baseball and softball players or the track athletes' chances of winning this thing? Because there might be some court date between now and the start of baseball or softball season or track season, the spring sports. That's my next question. Like, is this something that the fall sport athletes are going to win because of the time in the court system until that gets rectified? But if it's rectified on January the 14th, the fall sports guys, athletes might get away with it, but the spring sport athletes may not be able to get away with it. The other thing is, just because they say, in other words, if the SEC and the Big Ten win on this, and none of these football players end up being eligible, does that mean that Lee Amity can't still be eligible for the Cajuns and any other baseball or softball players that do this in other conferences? So those are the, I don't know that it's Because right now it's being portrayed as all of these are individual cases. But if the football players don't get to play, does that eliminate like Ali Amade's quest to play? Or is that going to be different because it's in a different conference and essentially it's not the same level, but it is. It certainly won't get the same amount of publicity. So those are the kind of my follow-up questions to all of this. And it's insanity, no question about that. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
ESPN Southwest Louisiana YouTube channel is the best way to stay locked into our station. Visit the channel today and subscribe to get notified whenever our shows are going live or we upload new content. The best part is it's completely free to watch and subscribe. Just head to YouTube, search ESPN_SWLA, and hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss anything from Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Delta Media is your home for Friday Night Football. STM on ESPN 103.7, North Vermilion on 106.3 Lafayette, Catholic High of New Iberia on Mustang 107.1 FM, St. Landry Parish Game of the Week on Z105.9, LRCA on News Talk 98.5 FM, and Barb on ESPN 104.1. Listen to the games on the radio or on each station's free mobile app. Delta Media has you covered for thrilling Friday Night Football.
Imagine building your dream backyard pool without ever leaving your couch. With Duplessis Builders, you can go shop our in-ground gunite pool packages online, start to finish. Browse our pool designs, compare features, see exactly what's included, and choose the package that fits your style and budget. Once you purchase, our team takes over. From permit and excavation to gunite decking and final startup, you click, we build, you swim. Your backyard upgrade is just a few clicks away. Visit DuplessisBuilders.net and buy your pool online today.
BB's Auto Sales has been serving Acadiana since 1966. Cleanest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Need financing? No problem. BB's offers easy financing for all credit types, including in-house financing. Plus, they're paying top dollar for your trade. Voted top 3 dealership in Community Choice Awards 2 years in a row. Visit BB's Auto Sales, 2 convenient locations off Johnston Street and in Abbeville. BB'sAutoSales.com. Cleanest cars in Acadiana.
Looking for a spotless workplace? Variety Janitorial Services is your go-to. For office cleaning to stripping and floor waxing and carpet cleaning, your commercial space will look its best. Their reputation for perfection has grown throughout the entire Acadiana community. They deliver top-notch service with a commitment to excellence. Daily, weekly, or deep cleaning, trust the experts. Visit VarietyJan.com today or call 337-298-8704 for a free quote. Variety Janitorial Services. We clean, you shine.
Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at LouisianaGunShop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more.
Imagine a place where wellness, luxury, and community come together. Welcome to City Club at River Ranch, Acadiana's premier private club. Enjoy a state-of-the-art fitness center, exceptional tennis and pickleball programs, resort-style amenities, and a vibrant social atmosphere. Whether you're pursuing your fitness goals or expanding your social circle, City Club offers an unmatched member experience. Visit cityclubatriverranch.com today. City Club at River Ranch, where lifestyle meets distinction.
Do yourself a favor and download the free ESPN Southwest Louisiana mobile app, powered by Moss Motors BMW for your Android or Apple devices. Download the app by searching ESPN 103.7 Lafayette or ESPN 104.1 Lake Charles. It's just that easy to take Southwest Louisiana's sports station with you wherever you go.
Welcome back to Footnotes. It is Gonna be a very interesting next couple of weeks. Can you imagine? I mean, because of injury situation, we I guess we always go into certain times where we don't know who's going to play, but we don't even know who's going to be on the roster for somebody. It's crazy, just crazy. All right, we just have a few minutes in this time. Let's head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Kevin. How are you this morning, my man?
Oh, it's been a rough couple weeks, sir.
It has been. Look, I'm a big LSU fan, UL fan, but I'm out of that mess. That's too much of a distraction right now, right before the season. I don't need none of that. I'm trying to push the Astros to the playoffs instead of worried about that right now, man. What a game last night, though, huh?
It was a great game, and it was great to see them win. If you'd have told me yesterday afternoon the Astros are going to win, I'd have guessed, 4-2, 3-2, something like that. I would not have guessed 9-7 because the offense has been so dreadful. But again, this is a team that's hit better on the road than at home for like a decade. And so I guess, there were warning signs to prepare me for what happened last night. And hopefully they can win some more. I really think Seattle's going to run away with this division, but we'll see.
Yeah, and look, Seattle's got the team to do it. Cal Raleigh's starting to get hot, what I saw last night in the last couple of weeks. And I think that they're hitting, we're hit or miss. And last night, we had 14 hits, and then the Yankees had 10, so they had 24 hits in that game. Garcia,
craziness.
You couldn't get him out. Go ahead.
No, it's craziness.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. And Garcia going 4 for 5. Jordan finally came around, and the Yankees wasn't scared to pitch. They didn't try to pitch around him, and they went after him, and he just, he hit hard. Altuve, Pena finally came out of a slump. Hopefully he stays like that, but I'm still worried about our pitching. Our starting pitching has really got me concerned. Golly, man.
It's dreadful.
I really like Lambert. I don't know what he does, but he is harder to hit, it seems like, than most of our pitchers. But Winsky, it's just a matter of time before people just start clocking him around,
I mean, you may be right. I hope not.
Last night.
They need Burrows. They need Burrows to come back and pitch well. I don't know if even that's possible, but they without that, I don't give them any hope. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We can all we can do is hope.
You know what, though? What bothers me, you're professionals. The walks have got to stop. That is just crazy. I can't stand the walk, especially watching guys, you 0-2 and you walk the guy. Come on, man.
Yeah, it drives.
I get so
I hate
frustrated.
the 0-2 walk. You're right. I appreciate the call. It's good hearing from you, sir. Try
Yes,
to hang
sir.
in there.
Thank you.
Sounds like you're doing better than me, so good job. Look, two things real quick. They said it last night. The Astros have many problems. One of the things, if you've been listening to me for years, my biggest is stop swinging. They said it last night. The only team in Major League Baseball in the month of August that has swung more than the Astros is the Rockies, and they might be the worst team in baseball, or at least they're in the discussion. Stop swinging. How hard is it to just not swing? Stop swinging. The other thing that is just unbelievable, if you were watching the game last night, he brought up Luis Garcia, a guy they traded at the trade deadline the Yankees got from the Nationals. And of course, I picked him on my fantasy team as a second baseman last year, and he was terrible. He moves to first base, and he's like MVP talk. I mean, it's just that's just typical for me. But anyway, he came up with runners on the corners and one out last night, and they showed his stats for the season. 71% of the time the runner got home. 71%. And then he gets an RBI single or double to right on an 0-2 pitch. A couple weeks ago, Altuve came to the plate. 14% of the time the runner got home from third. 14%. This cat, Luis Garcia, 71%. I just felt like crying. I saw that stat and I just put my head down. It's just the pain. At least it got dulled some for one night. 1 hour down, another hour to go. Stay tuned.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3 gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab or 337-519-3563.
Are you looking for an eye expert? Well, visit Acadiana Optics in Broussard, locally owned, founded, and operated by Broussard native Dr. Lindsay Dugas. From comprehensive eye exams for glasses and contacts to diabetic exams, pediatric eye care, emergency eye care, cataract and LASIK evaluations, Acadiana Optics provides family eye care for all vision needs. Enjoy state-of-the-art technology, designer frame selections, prescription Maui Jim sunglasses, and custom glasses and contacts. Acadiana Optics in Broussard. Call today to schedule your appointment.
Hi, how can I help?
Well, my husband and I feel like we've outgrown our current money manager.
I see.
Our lives have changed, and we need something more than just mutual funds to help us in retirement.
She's right.
I hear that often. At Fisher Investments, we'd start by getting to know you, your finances, family, health, lifestyle. We tailor a portfolio around your goals and needs.
Sounds good.
Can you help with estate planning?
Yes. We have a team of specialists who can help you with estate planning, Social Security, investment income, and more. We'll get to know your whole financial picture and help keep you on the path to a comfortable retirement.
And your fees?
We have a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
I feel better already.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros opened up their series with the New York Yankees with a 9-7 win in the Bronx last night. Yainer Diaz had a huge night at the plate, going 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 3 RBI. Game 2 of the series will be tonight, and it'll be Peter Lambert on the mound for Houston while the Yankees are yet to name their starter. First pitch is at 6:05 p.m., and you can listen to it on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Around the AL West, the White Sox beat the Rangers 11-7, the Guardians beat the Angels 8-6, the Athletics beat the Twins 4-2, and the Mariners beat the Phillies 4-1. With those results, Houston still narrowly holds on to first place with a half-game lead over the Rangers. A few recent LSU signings could see their futures with the Tigers in jeopardy after SEC schools voted unanimously 16-0 to bar athletes from returning to college sports after playing for a professional franchise. The rule states that if a player has declared for a professional draft and did not withdraw, signed a pro contract, or has been listed by a professional franchise's roster, then the player is ineligible to return to play in college, and any schools that violate this can be penalized by the league's commissioner. In Williamsport yesterday, 4 teams kept their Little League World Series hopes alive by fending off elimination. Today, 4 more games will take place. In the winner's bracket at 12, Curacao will play Latin America. Then the Mountain Region will play the Midwest at 2 p.m. Then in the elimination bracket, Canada will play Japan at 4 p.m. and Southeast will face the Great Lakes region at 6 p.m. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome back to Footnotes. You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, feel free, 706-0111. It seems like we haven't talked a whole lot of sports yet. Lately, it's just legal issues with the NCAA and injuries. So like, I'm just again punch drunk with all of that, but it is what it is. Before we move on, we discussed our poll question of the day and talked a lot about it. The subject was discussed most of the first hour, but I don't know, did we get the result? What are the updated results, sir, of what people are thinking on it?
Looking at the results, it's actually more surprising than I would have thought. Once again, what is the biggest threat to college athletics? That's our poll question of the day, and you can answer it on Facebook and on X. Right now, leading the way, 47% of the votes are saying that players are getting paid. How dare they make $1? 27% are going with pros coming back to college. This whole thing that we've talked about since, was it the end of last week and going into this week? That it's been the big topic of debate. 7% are going with everything with these teams being sponsored. The jerseys, the uniforms, the field, the stadium, the scoreboard, everything having an ad block.
Yeah, I don't really have, I mean, I don't like it, but I don't really have a problem with that. I think the one about the athletes getting paid, it just depends on how many layers you want to go. Because if you voted for that and you're thinking it's not that you have a problem, that you may not have a problem necessarily with guys getting paid, but you're saying it's a threat because how do you police it? And where does it end? And you know, these schools can do these and these schools can't do that, and because of the inequities in college athletics, where you have the haves and the really haves and the really have-nots, and you have with not only within from top to bottom within the NCAA as a whole, Division I as a whole, but within conferences you have haves and have-nots, and so. Is all of that paying athletes going to lead to, the whole getting paid sounds good, but it's a very complicated issue. Like you can go a long way to. Is all these athletes getting paid going to mean that athletes are going to stay in longer? Are they going to eventually leave quicker? Is this going to lead to where they're really, really just professional sports where all these schools are going to break away and form their own league and we're not even going to have – I mean, there's a long way to go now that athletes have been paid. That is a very complicated, many multi-layered deal. So it just depends on what you're saying when you choose one of those, because I get why someone thinks – it's not so much the concept of athletes shouldn't get paid. It's how do you police all of that? And how do you make it equitable? And you don't even have contracts. I mean, you kind of do, but are they even binding? Like if a conference bylaw and eligibility isn't binding, how can a contract be binding? When the schools tell these players, we're going to give you this, and they don't give it to them. That's the other side of all of this. So are they ever going to figure all this out? I don't know. Again, if you'd like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, 706-0111. All right, so yesterday, Jamar Chase, the Bengals, had to hold their breath. If you didn't see the highlight, Jamar Chase looked like he got injured, maybe serious. It turned out not serious. The Astros, the Saints, as if they needed another scare. Olave left the practice field. Sound like he just got the wind knocked out of him. We hope. It's pretty easy to be paranoid these days. Obviously, our suspicions were confirmed, and Monteveo had a really good Ty Chandler, they're both done. I mean, do we really? It looks like Devin Neal, who I really like, is another Kendry Miller. He's just always going to be hurt. He's been here 2 years or a year in the preseason, and all he has been is hurt.
This cat's already given him the moniker.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And I love the guy. I nicknamed him Pierre, and I don't even know if he's ever going to see the field again the way it's looking. I mean, it's just unreal. Is Miller really going to ever get healthy? Really? I mean, it's unreal. And the perhaps the biggest, other than the Riddler, who we were all worried about, the guys that I was the most worried about with the injuries. Maybe I shouldn't even say this. If my wife and daughters are right, then I'll be speaking it into existence. But let's just say the three players, and I've said it on the air many times, so if you listen regularly, you'll probably know who they are. The three players, other than the Riddler, that I was the most worried about there are not among the 22 or 23 injured players that are missing practice these days. Let's just put it that way. So how ironic, and I sure hope they stay healthy all season because, man, do the Saints need them. I mean, they need those guys stay healthy big time. And I'm not even talking about the quarterback. Because I can't even think about that. I mean, talking about backup quarterbacks just seems silly to me with all these injuries we got going. If you're going to go that far to saying, oh no, well, the quarterback's going to get hurt too, and we got to worry about the backup quarterback, then just throw up your hands and walk away. I mean, it's just it's hard enough right now, much less going down that before it happens. And so that's why talking about the backup quarterback is just crazy. But it's not, again, the Saints are really, really bad. Like, I doubt anybody else has. Maybe the Cheaters. I don't know. I don't even know if the Cheaters have 20-something players out right now. But these serious injuries, Calvin Austin is not a great player, but Calvin Austin was one of the wide receivers that we've mentioned before the Saints, before the draft, and maybe they could pick that guy up. And he's a guy who people thought maybe if he went to a good offense, he has some speed and he went to the Giants, and now he's out for the year. He wasn't going to be like their top one or two threats, but he was going to be, probably their third or fourth receiver. And now he's out for the year. It's just, is it possible that it's always like this and it just seems worse? It seemed like we said this last year too, though. Have there always been this many injuries? It just seems like it's worse this year. Not just with it's obviously bad because of the Saints, but it seems like there's a lot of serious out for the year injuries around the leagues already this year. And so I don't know. So what do you do? Because I'm trying to think about it this way. So look at I know it's a different level, but it's the same concept. So like Shelton Sampson, we've been talking about him off and on with the Cajuns, wide receiver, best wide receiver on the team. He has not practiced. He didn't compete in the spring. He didn't practice in camp. And so they're beginning, now that camp's over, they're beginning a quote-unquote return to play process. So he's not getting re-injured unless he trips and sprains an ankle on the sidewalk going to practice. But is he even close to ready to play? And I say that to say, so if you're the Saints right now and you got all these injuries, especially to the wide receiver and running back positions, do you just need to tell Achane and Olave you're not practicing anymore between now and this? If they had a minor injury, you wouldn't be practicing them. And you would take the chance that they've done enough to be ready for the season. And they're veterans enough to be ready for the season because they've been in the league and they know how to get ready for the season, theoretically. So if they had a minor injury, you would do that. So should you not, at this point, just do that even though they don't have a minor injury? Just sit them. No more practice for the rest of the season. I'm not talking about everyone, but like some of your key players that you cannot afford to get hurt, especially with all these other guys hurt next to them at their positions. I mean, really, they've got to consider that. The flip side of it is we want them to be ready. Kind of hard to prepare if my best guys are not out there. But can you afford to risk getting them hurt right now? Or do you just say, we can't worry about injuries, we got to go? Like, even though they had all those injuries last year, I remember several times Coach Dad said, look, I understand that, but like, we can't sit here and live in constant fear that we're going to get someone hurt. It's football. We got to go play and prepare. I get that too. I mean, I just like, if they don't play the starters again, really, how prepared are they going to be for that first couple games, which is preseason anyway? Like I always say, it's preseason anyway. Man, what a mess. I mean, what a mess. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The Gate on Duck Festival returns August 27th through the 30th. The festival highlights the hunting heritage of the Acadiana region and offers great entertainment with its duck and goose calling contests, skeet shooting, dog trials, duck dash, and decoy carving. In addition to great food and drinks, there'll be a variety of musical acts like Wayne Toops, Zyda Cajun, Gino Delafosse, and French Rockin' Boogie, and Tracy Bird. Make sure to head down to the duck capital of the world for the Gate on Duck Festival. For more information, visit duckfestival.org today.
ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The best businesses aren't just businesses, they're neighbors. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino. They have the newest games around. Hot seat drawings and monthly specials like no one else. Located on the Bro Bridge Highway and on the banks of the Vermilion River. Come out today and try your luck at the Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local, certified South Louisiana.
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you so.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the Houston Astros.
Welcome back to Footnotes. It's time to talk to the boss, but he's the boss now. So, he might have, bosses have sometimes unscheduled busyness that they did not prepare for. So we'll see if Dawson can make it in. It is a weird time. It is so strange. And I made the comment to Jeff, like, it seems like we haven't talked much football in recent weeks. We've talked legal stuff and we've talked injuries. And I get, you could say, well, all of that's under the umbrella of football. Yeah, but it's not football. Like, I've said for years, I didn't get into this to read contracts and come out with, if you want to do that, you become a lawyer and go to school forever and make a lot of money. I didn't want to go to school forever, apparently, and apparently didn't want to make a lot of money. And so, it's just, but that's where we are. And so we've got to at least try to figure some of it out. All right. Mr. Dawson Iserloh is here. How are you, sir?
What's going on? I'm good.
We're trying to figure things out, like a lot of people around the country. So I don't want to rehash everything that's been said, but I want to come up with what your impressions on two of the questions that I've or issues that I'm trying to ponder in this whole NCAA with athletes situation. Okay, so one of them is, because of the way court dates, and we all know, he says, okay, we're going to have a court date and it's 4 months from now or whatever, because that happens, and a lot of times you kick the can far enough, then, it's too far past and the guy gets to play or whatever until it's hurt again. So does that mean that football players, if they continue to go down this road, have a better chance of getting to play, even though they thought they were not playing in their college eligibility, than baseball players? In other words, do these football players that we're talking about right now coming to LSU or whatever other team, do they have a better chance than Liamadi? Because Liamadi, if they push this back to January and somehow they end up losing that battle, the football players get to play and the baseball player not get to play.
Yeah, well, I'd have said that, and then until the SEC did what they did yesterday, which is pass this rule that's a conference rule that now there's going to be lawsuits against it, basically saying that they acted like an antitrust or something, like, because they ended up colluding with the NCAA to get these players ineligible and override the court system. But then you can again argue, like, the NCAA is not a public institution anyway, so their rules that have been governed forever have been made by them, not the court system. So I don't know what to make of it.
But everyone keeps telling me that the court system supersedes conference rules.
You'd think it does, but then again, like, the court system can't be tasked with making the rules for college athletics forever. Like, that's not supposed to be how it works. So I don't know.
But it either does supersede or it doesn't. What am I missing here?
So the court's going to have to go in, I guess, and then rule against the SEC and say what they did was because what's preventing the SEC from saying, all right, go ahead and let them play. Then we're going to fine you every week, and we're going to suspend them.
Because that's part of the ruling that they said you cannot do anything. They can't reap negative repercussions because they've been wronged. That's part of the ruling.
That's why it doesn't make any sense.
It is. So what I'm worried about, again, I'm talking about, obviously, Lee is here and he played at UL,
Yeah.
and we would like what I'm wondering if that the court backlog, or I don't know why it takes so long to set a court date, but for whatever reason, that if this thing gets pushed back to December or January, these football players might get to play if we keep fighting this battle, unless somehow one side throws up his hands and says, okay, you win, and then the baseball players may not get to do that.
That's true, and I do think Lee's probably going to have a pretty tough case to make, because I don't know the exact situation, but he doesn't have one of these very specific exemptional reasons, right? Like what we saw with Chambliss, which he got his done a long time ago, so he's unaffected by all this. It's wild though. It's like they went to mom and asked if they could go to the party. She said no. They went to dad. He said yes. So they're like, well, I have a yes and I have a no, so I'm going to go, and then I'm going to see what happens once I'm there, and we'll see who has more power. I don't.
Right. And in the last hour, Jeff and I talked about, there's a theory that I've heard more and more people say that the NCAA did this on purpose.
It's possible.
To create this chaos so they can achieve the end, that to make things better on the other side.
Maybe. But I saw that thought too.
If that's true, it's like entrapment.
Is Lane Kiffin saving college athletics when we all think he's trying to be the villain? Is he actually trying to save it?
It's kind of like, I saw a sitcom episode last night where all these people, that two of them, family members, were having an argument, and all the other ones acted like they were mad at each other, so the two so they could try to get the other two to reunite, and it worked. So it was all a big entrapment plan. It was all a big it was all lie.
I don't know.
So is that what's playing out in front of us? All right. So that my next step is my next question is, if all of these players that we're talking about don't end up playing, does that mean that Lee can't end up playing, and people in his situation in different conferences in a less publicized sport? Or in other words, is it all or nothing? I mean, maybe one could and others can't.
Well, the Sun Belt did kind of publish something that kind of says what all the other ones say, that if you signed a pro contract, you can't play. So I as of now, I think he has work to do. And I would, if I had to make an estimate or a guess right now, I would assume he's not going to play this year. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe he has a better shot, right? Because he'll get a chance in theory to let his legal process play out, and he'll have a ruling. But as we just learned, the other guys already do have a ruling, and they're still not playing.
But
so
it goes down to, do the courts supersede conference bylaws?
Well,
if they don't,
so here's the problem, though. What I think is happening, that it's like we say, well, it's a court ruling. But then everybody's also kind of acknowledging, it was a court ruling where they handpicked the judge and it was in the exact city that they were operating in. That's also not how it's supposed to work. These should be independent arbiters that are making these decisions, not the court and the judge who's in the city that's operating the same way all these things
I
are
agree,
happening.
but how many guys already have reaped the benefit of that scenario?
Right, so that's why, because you can argue Chambliss did.
Yeah.
But, so I don't know. It's ridiculous is what it is.
All right, so I was just talking. If you were the Beeve, with all of the injuries that the Saints have, and I understand you want to prepare, are you not at the point now where you just say Etchen and Olave and Chase Young, y'all can't practice. Y'all not practicing anymore. Y'all are veterans. You know what you're doing. Should that be considered?
No, because you still have to, I still believe you have to prepare to play football by playing football. I just don't think you can roll out there. And then you talk about, I think you're putting yourself in even more danger to get hurt if you're going out there without a really substantial number of live reps under your belt. No, I don't think you shut them down. Now, do you give them a little bit more rest days? Do you maybe take it a little lighter? Those arguments can be made, but I'm still of the idea that you need to play to an extent. I still want to see the starting offense have a drive or two against Dallas. I
you think he's going to do that after everything they've been through?
I don't know if he's going to do that, because he does have the argument. It's just we didn't get to see it, but the joint practices happened, so he kind of already got what he wanted, I guess, out of that group.
And he has really emphasized that over and over again in his press conference.
And it's not a new concept. A lot of coaches have said for a long time they think those are better because they can kind of control what they want to see. They can set up situations. They can get with the other coach and say, hey, I really want to work on this. instead of just having it happen organically in a game. So I get why they like that stuff more. But
yeah, but I agree with all that except for, you know what? All that stuff is not real football.
Well, I also don't understand why they did 2 of them in the same week. I don't get that part either, but scheduling.
They did
stuff.
3 quasi games and 2 games in a 10-day period.
Right. So
That's a lot.
That's still always been confusing to me. But really, it's 4 if you count the first preseason game, right? And the 2 scrimmages and then second preseason game.
It's crazy.
They played 4 in like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, I thought it was.
No, including the joint practice with the Jags as well.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's 3 joint practices plus 2 preseason games.
So 5.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah. It's crazy. No, I thought it. I said even before all the last wave of injury and the awful performance, but it's also funny to me. And these, I know I shouldn't worry about this stuff, and you would tell me don't worry about this stuff, but it drives me bonkers that for the casual fan who doesn't follow the reports from all these good reports we got from these joint practices in the first preseason game. So they play one game and preseason game and they look awful. And they're like, well, the Saints are awful. The season's over. And I mean, the season may be over because of all the injuries, but it's like they dismiss all the other good play that took place, but because they played one stinker game, then it's just an awful situation, and the bee's in over his head, and they're just off.
I don't know about I'm not nearly as discouraged as I've been in the past on this injury situation, man. I get that it's tough that Brazil's gone, and I get that it's tough that you maybe lost a backup guard, but this is not like the starting quarterback tore his ACL in the first camp practice. I'm not throwing in the towel on the season based on injuries at all. I really am not. Am I missing something? I mean, yeah, Tyson might miss a handful of games. All right, Kamara's going to be down
I
a
think
bit.
Tyson's season is a wash.
Well, if you're right about that, that's a bigger problem. But this offense looked pretty good down the stretch last year without him. So I'm not ready to be like, oh, this is doom and gloom. Because
if you tell me there's not going to be any more injuries, I will still pick them to win the division. But now, I'm just at the point where this isn't going to stop. It's just not. It just all signs point to this is not going to stop. It's going to be another one of those seasons again.
Well, that's maybe just being scarred from the past, but I would not. We could do that. I don't have numbers on camp injuries in the past handful of years. I don't think this is an above average number of camp injuries for the Saints, and honestly for an NFL team in general. There's a handful. A lot of the players who have missed time are not Matt DeVeo going on IR is not a significant injury for this team. I don't know. I don't feel quite.
He's the fourth tight end.
Right. That's.
But I think he's pretty good.
No, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying that's not the same thing as if you were missing 2 starting offensive linemen and a linebacker, and you're not. So I'm not.
All of that makes sense. And like I said, there are no injuries other than the Riddler that in and of itself is all that damaging. For me, it's just we just went through 2 of these seasons where you were playing basically AAA football because of injuries. And now all signs seem to be pointing towards that again. It's kind of like the Cajuns went through last year with the offensive line.
I know, which on another note, I can't believe how healthy it seems like the lines of scrimmage are, and I don't even want to believe it. I want them to play a football game so that we can see them out there. But
other than the last report on Broderick Stewart, was a
one.
good defensive tackle. All right, we're never going to figure it all out. We're just going to wait and see.
I'm proud of you. Nothing Astros related today. That was good. That was good. It was Yordan Alvarez gliding around the bases. You like that?
We're overdue, but let me ask you this one. Do you feel, because I still think that the only hope, the only potential savior for the Astros is Mike Burrows. Do you feel any better this week than last week?
No. I feel the same on Mike Burrows.
That's the only thing that gives me any optimism.
Why would he shouldn't
That's
feel
how
any
different
better.
you and I are.
The guy who brought him in's gone. The guy who believed in him got fired 2 days ago.
I mean, I think the only hope for the Astros is Mike Burrows, and you just totally dismiss him.
I do.
It's kind of funny.
There's no way that's the only hope.
That's the only hope.
There's no way.
Well, who else? Tell me who else can pitch more than 4 innings in a start.
I mean, Pecco got 4 1/3, right?
And he got lit.
Yeah, but he got 4 1/3. He gave you
That's
more than 4.
not good enough. 5 is not good enough.
Well,
you have
said
to go
then-
6
then
innings.
You should have started with that. You asked for more than 4, and he gave you that.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
We'll be
Anytime.
back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
Houston Astros opened up their series with the New York Yankees with a 9-7 win in the Bronx last night. Yainer Diaz had a huge night at the plate, going 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 3 RBI. Game 2 of the series will be tonight, and it'll be Peter Lambert on the mound for Houston while the Yankees are yet to name their starter. First pitch is at 6:05 p.m., and you can listen to it on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Around the AL West, the White Sox beat the Rangers 11-7, the Guardians beat the Angels 8-6, the Athletics beat the Twins 4-2, and the Mariners beat the Phillies 4-1. With those results, Houston still narrowly holds on to first place with a half-game lead over the Rangers. A few recent LSU signings could see their futures with the Tigers in jeopardy after SEC schools voted unanimously 16-0 to bar athletes from returning to college sports after playing for a professional franchise. The rule states that if a player has declared for a professional draft and did not withdraw, signed a pro contract, or has been listed by a professional franchise's roster, then the player is ineligible to return to play in college, and any schools that violate this can be penalized by the league's commissioner. In Williamsport yesterday, 4 teams kept their Little League World Series hopes alive by fending off elimination. Today, 4 more games will take place. In the winner's bracket at 12, Curacao will play Latin America. Then the Mountain Region will play the Midwest at 2 p.m. Then in the elimination bracket, Canada will play Japan at 4 p.m. and Southeast will face the Great Lakes region at 6 p.m. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Looking for a great midweek treat? Come to Mezcal Mexican Restaurant every Wednesday and Thursday and enjoy their sizzling fajita special. $13.99 plus tax all day long. Don't forget all day 2-for-1 margaritas. Are you planning a large party? Let Mezcal handle it. Call 337-484-3298 and Mezcal will take care of everything. That's a fajita special, $13.99 plus tax all day Wednesday and Thursday at Mezcal Mexican Restaurant, 3546 Ambassador Caffrey, next to Rooms to Go. Come taste the flavor of Mezcal.
Whether it's a tempting text message or a quick glance at your GPS, taking your eyes off the road for just a moment can have serious consequences. This includes turning around or reaching down. Distractive driving includes eating or putting on makeup. Distractive driving is anything that diverts your attention from driving. I'm Lorraine Luquette Vinoy with Service Chevrolet Cadillac, encouraging you to drive smart, drive safe, and keep those eyes on the road, Acadiana. This message is powered by Service Chevrolet Cadillac and this radio station, where safety meets style on the road.
Do you love to golf? Well, then it's time to make September your month at Farm D Alley Golf Club. For just $550, enjoy unlimited weekday golf all month long. That's every Tuesday through Thursday with cart included. No extra fees. Just great golf on one of Acadiana's premier courses. Whether you're sharpening your game or simply enjoying the outdoors, the September weekday pass is an incredible value. Don't miss out. Call Farm D Alley Golf Club today or stop by the Pro Shop. Farm D Alley Golf Club. Play more, save more, all September long.
MeTV is America's #1 classic entertainment television network. And here's one of the reasons everybody loves MeTV.
Oh, it's a classic.
The great comedy lineup on weeknights.
This will be fun. Come on.
With MASH.
Loaded with snappy comebacks.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I was just funning with Barney.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now we got a show.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Go check out our YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA for the latest episodes of Cleats and Sneaks with James Mesh and 4 Tire Change with Dawson Izolo and much more. That's ESPN, Southwest Louisiana's sports station on YouTube.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you want to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, a few minutes left to do so, 706-0111. Man, wouldn't it be awesome is if Mike Burrow's first start back, he goes 7 shutout innings? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Kat, you're setting yourself up for misery.
I mean, that's the only hope. Like, paint me another scenario. Here's the problem right now. The bullpen has been having to carry this team all season, or like since May on. And they've done a great job. The only reason they're anywhere near 500 is because of the bullpen. That's the only reason. You say, well, Yardon. No, not even El Perro. The only reason, if the bullpen was horrendous this year, El Perro Grande could have 50 home runs right now. The Astros would be like 20 games under 500. Like, it wouldn't matter. The bullpen has absolutely kept this team anywhere near 500 in playoff contention. And so they're wearing down. Like, there's no way they're not wearing down as bad as the starting rotation has been. And so the only way to allow them to rejuvenate themselves at all and make it to the end of this season and hopefully into the playoffs is if they start getting some help from the starting rotation and the offense, but especially the starting rotation. And like this 4-inning stuff has got to stop. So if Burrows comes back and can be anywhere near the pitcher he was supposed to be, and Hunter Brown and Wisniewski, at least in Lambert, that might give them 4 pitchers that have a chance to go 6 or 7 innings. But, I mean, part of it is like a spot is still there, and I think he's handled the bullpen tremendously. But this year, with a few recent awful exceptions, but they have got to start leaving guys in. You can't keep overusing and overusing and overusing the bullpen. You just can't do it. So Mike Burrows is the only hope in my mind, the only one, because I don't see Javier is never going to be able to go 6 innings consistently. That is not going to happen. He can give you 3 innings in relief. Javier needs to be a relief pitcher. We've seen it so far. He'll give you 3 or 4 good innings, and then in the 4th or the 5th inning, he just blows up. So use him in relief. Like, stop swimming upstream here.
Further buff the relief pitching.
Yes.
What if you just kind of paint yourself a new picture? That with how bad the starting pitching is, you have to treat everybody like they're a relief pitcher.
Remember last year, I was preaching that, like pitch backwards, but they just they don't seem to want to do it. They didn't. I mean, I thought last year the starting pitching was bad. It's even worse this year, and so I was saying, do that kind of. I mean, do more 5-4 or 3-3-3s and stuff like that. If they're gonna go unconventional and do that, it might work. But I wanted them to do it last year, and they didn't do it, and they haven't done it so far this year. So I don't know if they're willing to do it. I mean,
well, I wouldn't expect Joe Espada, especially at this point where we know he's not coming back, for him to all of a sudden change his approach.
That's what I'm worried about.
Like I don't see an expectation or a reason for him to do so, other than it's like it makes sense to do so, but. For him as a coach that's basically a lame duck one that's not coming back and he's got 30 games left, it's like, what makes him think all of a sudden he's going to have this renaissance and decide, I'm going to change things up?
And again, to James's point, again, this is what they could do. Like last night, okay? Like last night. Now, obviously, you can't do this because Javier just started. But if you arranged it that way, like last night as an example, Pecco go 3 innings, Javier go 3 innings, Blue Ball go 3 innings. Everyone else gets a rest. No one else pitches. And that way you stay away from, and then you pick another game where, different people go to, Tung goes 3 innings, and this guy goes, and if Hunter Brown can go 7 one time, then fine. Then you use 2 relief pitchers and give another one. If you don't start doing that, though, the only hope, other than something really off the wall like that, and again, last year I was preaching for this stuff, and they wouldn't do it. But unless you do something really off the wall like that, then Mike Burrows is the only hope for the rest of the season. And Dawson tells me he's the worst pitcher in the history of the sport. All right, let us head back to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Why don't y'all call Tampa Bay and learn how to use an opener, Kevin? You go ahead and you pitch backwards again for the first couple of innings, then you put in Petco. And, from there, they come in the 3rd inning, where, they're going to last to the 6th or 7th inning, and then from there you have your 2 closers. You set up in your closer. I mean, Tampa Bay works. It ain't like not just Tampa Bay. A lot of other teams are doing that too.
They tried that last week, and it took 2 relief pitchers to get through the first inning. They got lit. They were down 3-0. Again, what I'm saying is a variation of that. I'm saying don't go with a true closer. A true opener, like have a guy pitch 3 innings. He's pitching 3 innings. If he has 3 no-hit innings, then he throws 3 innings. That's it. And then you have another guy that comes in to throw the next 3, and everyone gets off that day. Everyone else is off that day. That's the only way you can survive this with no starting pitching.
But Kevin, you know what it sounds like what you're saying. The Astros do not like to use too much analytics. I mean, analytics are going to show you when you don't have a good starting rotation, or at least several of your starter guys don't go far. Use the opener and try to do it that way. Evidently, the Astros are stubborn not to do it. Everybody does it. Really.
Well, but again, I don't think a 1-inning opener solves anything. Their pitching is so bad, and their guys are so tired. That's why I'm saying you got to have a 3-inning opener, not a 1-inning opener.
Well, but Kevin, look, I don't want to change the subject for a little bit. Okay. Kevin, didn't they say all the presidents in the SEC voted for this thing not to go? Who's the boss at a university? Who's the top guy? Is it the president of LSU the boss, or is Donald Trump Jr. the boss of LSU? Which one is it?
Well, I don't know, but I don't think it's the president, no.
So even though he voted that, he has no say-so, evidently.
Yeah, but again, I think it's kind of a deal. I mean, you've been in groups before. If you're in a meeting and everyone votes one way, you're going to vote that way, even though you want to or not. Like I think people are overanalyzing that part too much. And we all know that he was put there and he ain't the boss.
Evidently not. They promised all these backers, we're going to take your money. They kept on putting their hat out to get all the money, to get all these extra players. And I think that, there's going to come to roost and say, they're saying you better go ahead and try as hard as you can to please these backers, because if it don't happen and you don't do good, don't make the playoffs, these backers are not going to be paying it. They're not going to have those pockets as deep as it was before.
And that may be. I don't know, man. If I'm them, I'm thinking, okay, do we really want to go against the SEC? You know how powerful the SEC is? How powerful Sankey is? Like, do you really want to be the Darth Vader of the SEC? You better make sure it's worth it.
Hey, who in college football is more powerful than Sankey? Nobody.
I agree.
Have a good one.
Take care. Again, I'm not against what FedEx Man was saying. I just don't know that a 1-inning opener is going to do anything. I think the Astros situation is so extreme. Their starting pitching is so bad that you have to do 3 innings. And you have to – because the problem with doing the 1-inning opener thing, okay, let's say he comes in and throws 1 inning. even if he has a 1-2-3 inning, then you're bringing in someone like Tang or someone like that to pitch 3 innings or 4 innings after that. You're still only halfway through the game. Then you still might have to use 3 of your high leverage pitchers. You got to give those guys days off. And I think the only way to give them days off, other than a starting pitcher going 7 innings or 8 innings, which never happens for this team, it seems like, is to do the 3-3-3 or the 5-4 thing. 5-4 is even better because you only use 2 arms. But again, they hardly ever get a guy to go 5, much less 6. But 5-4 is even better. And you say, we're going to throw. But I don't even think they're good enough to do that. I don't even know they have enough guys that can go 5. So that's why I say do 3-3-3. And just, you got to give guys days off. Because you can have an opener and still have to use 3 of your high leverage guys at the back of the pen. They can't afford to do that every day. They're already worn down. This, like I said, this team is trying to carry this team. This has been 2 years in a row like this. I'm just completely worn out. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
It's nearly time to celebrate the tall, green, sweet sugar cane that's been long part of the fabric of South Louisiana. That's right. The Louisiana Sugar Cane Festival and Fair returns to New Iberia on Friday, September the 25th through Sunday the 27th. The festival features the annual Blessing of the Crop, a carnival street fair, a 5K, a car show, parades, pageants, and live music with a Fado featuring musical acts Clay Cormier, the Bad Boys Band, and Chris Arduin, and more. For more information, visit hisugar.org today.
Delta Media is your home for Friday Night Football. STM on ESPN 103.7, North Vermilion on 106.3 Lafayette, Catholic High of New Iberia on Mustang 107.1 FM, St. Landry Parish Game of the Week on Z105.9, LRCA on News Talk 98.5 FM, and Barb on ESPN 104.1. Listen to the games on the radio or on each station's free mobile app. Delta Media has you covered for thrilling Friday Night Football.
Ready to transform your backyard into the summer paradise you've always dreamed of? With Duplessis Builders custom gunite pool packages, we make it simple to own a stunning, long-lasting, in-ground pool built just for you. Choose from classic designs, all customizable to fit your space, style, and budget. Our pools come with quality finishes, energy-efficient equipment, beautiful lighting, and professional installation from excavation to decking, so you can dive in before the next heat wave hits. Don't just dream it, build it. Visit duplessisbuilders.net.
Do you know how many tax resolution firms have been forced to close because they were taking advantage of people or have gone out of business? It happens all the time. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. As a matter of fact, there are national tax relief companies that are currently under court orders to cease operations. So if you have IRS issues, do not fall for the threats and scare tactics of the national so-called tax relief companies. The Bryson Law Firm has been doing this for decades. We have a AAA BBB rating, and our entire focus is IRS problems and tax liability issues. An IRS problem is a legal problem. Let the Bryson Law Firm help you get relief the right way. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Don't put it off any longer. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSB filing number LA251964.
You thinking trailers? Think Tibbs. Whether you tug it, tow it, or transport it, Tibbs Trailers is your headquarters for enclosed, flatbed, and hydraulic trailers. You won't find a better selection or a better price than right here. We've got the experts to repair or customize your trailer so it'll be ready for whatever you pull it through. Why would you go anywhere else when you can go to Tibbs Trailers? Now we're talking trailers.
Between Scott and Doosan.
Life can get hectic. That's why Progressive provides claim support 24/7, 365 days a year, all the time. But not like in a desperate way. We're not just waiting online for you to talk to us or waiting by the phone. I mean, we are waiting by the phone, but not like staring at it. Well, now I am. I'm staring at it. The point is, Progressive Claim Support is here for you 24/7 in a totally chill, normal way. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
Are you not getting enough Kevin Foote in your life?
I want more. I want more. I want more.
Then make sure to check out the latest episode of Foote's Friday Fury on the ESPN Southwest Louisiana YouTube page.
All that's important right now is they decide to change their draft philosophy, stop the run. If he was the first choice and he didn't stop the run, what good does that do? Nothing. So stop talking about what choice he is. Let's focus on stopping the run and stop botching the first and second round. That's all that's important. All that other stuff is just garbage hatred talk that means nothing.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell to get notifications of more of the Furious Foot.
Welcome back to Footnotes. All right, so we've been talking about what some people would argue a lot of non-sports things, so I feel okay talking a little about having a few words about a non-sports thing. Dolly Parton died yesterday, and would I consider myself, you know, my definition of a fan is stricter than most. I don't think I've ever purchased a Dolly Parton record. I don't even think I have I have a lot of old 45s. I don't even think I have a Dolly Parton 45. I don't think I ever did. And yet, she is, I don't know that there's ever been someone, first of all, love her voice, and one of the things, like, she's one of those people that I don't even have to like the song, but just because I think her voice is so cool, I can listen to it and appreciate it. I don't know that there's ever been someone where her personality, which is so refreshing and so uplifting, comes out in her voice more than Dolly Parton. It's we were laughing yesterday. We do this a lot on this show, the whole age difference thing. And someone, I'm not going to tell you his name, who's actually not that young, but he's like, when Dolly Parton, and he texts and he's like, I didn't know Dolly Parton sang. I thought she was just an actress. And we're, you know, I think the whole age difference thing and the perspectives of it's funny. Like, we do that sometime with Blake or James or whoever. And it's just funny. I mean, I can remember being a young child and seeing her and Porter Wagner and all that in the Grand Ole Opry. I'm not a country fan, but my parents were apparently when I was young, because I remember watching that. When I was 5 and 6 and 7 years old. And so I've known her as a singer most of my life. I don't even think I've seen that many of her movies. 9 to 5, I guess I saw 9 to 5, and I saw Steel Magnolias. I don't know if there's another movie that I've ever seen that Dolly Parton was in. So it's not, I wouldn't consider myself a Dolly Parton fan, but she is. When you watch an interview, she says things that seem so simple yet so powerful. And she just is as delightful a person to listen to and songs that, because of her voice and just she doesn't hide who she is. She is what she is. And, who knows all what she's done in her life. And she seems real, and you kind of hope that she was. But she's just a delight. And again, I'm not a fan, but I can. It almost helped me yesterday because when someone that famous dies, you're flooded with interviews and songs and all kind of stuff about her. That's just the way we do things. And seeing some of her interviews and what she said and what goes behind what she does was kind of uplifting because she just looks like someone who never had a bad day. But she had to have a lot of bad. Like she wanted to have kids, but she never could have kids. And she came up with a family. I think she had like 12 brothers and sisters and all that. And, most of you, if you've ever been around, you know her story. But anyway, I just think I'm not one that likes that often over glorifies people once they die, but I would have said these things before she died. I just think she is she's just a very interesting, a cool person, refreshing to listen to. It was just cool listening to a lot of the interviews that she did and the song, because her voice is just so her, and it's so refreshing. And sometimes you just need that, like me right now. All right, y'all have a good day.
Around Acadiana, community means supporting the businesses that make our hometown special. That's why we're proud to spotlight local companies that are certified South Louisiana.
Delta Home Center and Delta Trailer Sales, your one-stop shop for utility and cargo trailers. Heavy-duty